for joining me today, guys. Obviously, the purpose of this kind of conversation today is just to speak about obviously our amazing partner relationship, and this is forming part of the case study that we're doing on Chalkline. So I myself, you guys know, my name's Mike Korkidakis, and I'm the head of distribution at Wavenet. Obviously, I'm joined today by Harry and David. I think is a great starting point. It'd be really good to maybe just individually do a bit of an intro to you guys and maybe a bit of your sort of background as well, if that's all right. Maybe Harry, we'll start with you.
Sure. So I'm Harry. I'm the technical director of Chalkline. We've been going for the best part of 5 years now, very much focused around the Microsoft stack and all the great things that come with it. My role in the business is really focusing on picking the right tools for both us internally and for our customers to run with, to make sure that we're efficient, to make sure we're using the modern secure approach as well. I think that's me in a nutshell.
Perfect.
I'm David Smetana. I'm the managing director of Chalkline. Harry and I have been working together for a decade. Is it that long?
Pretty much.
We've been working together for a long time, and I guess my main role in the business is to manage the relationships with vendors, predominantly deal with the sort of sales and marketing side of the company, and just to ensure that everything runs smoothly and can support everyone in the business to make sure we're pointing in the right direction and focusing on our clients and the needs and requirements of our clients. We're a very customer-centric business. Yes, we're a technology-based business, but it really is all about providing the right solutions for our clients, and that happens to be on the Microsoft stack predominantly. But it's about enabling our businesses to work more efficiently, more collaboratively, and just to give them a platform to grow. And we believe in putting the right solution first. So it's not a cost-driven exercise. We really do want to make sure that everything we put forward is right for the client, and that's why we're very particular about the solutions that we put forward. And I guess that's testament to the relationship that we have with Wavenet. We've been working with Wavenet and previously with Via for many years now. And I guess it's the relationship that we have between us that has lasted the test of time. And listen, continue to work with you on lots of opportunities, and look forward to continuing to do so for many years to come. So that's pretty much where we are as a business, I guess.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for that, David. That's great.
Right.
I definitely want to touch on sort of Chalkline's solution first approach. Yes, certainly a little bit further into the conversation. But one of the things you did mention there as well is obviously our kind of pre-existing relationship. So obviously, Wavenet acquired Via. It's about sort of 16, 17 months ago now, and so we have that pre-existing relationship that dates back to kind of the starting of Chalkline in 2016. It'd be really great to kind of maybe get a little bit of the sort of background on what founded the business and why you decided to kind of start things up, and then why you took sort of Via on that journey with you as well.
So I guess Chalkline was born out of a merger of a prior company that we, Harry and I, were both working for. And that company was going in a more sort of corporate enterprise direction. And we had an opportunity to take some of the smaller clients and start up Chalkline. And I guess we're SMB focused, and we've got some corporate mid-sized clients. But our focus and our sweet spot really is in the sort of, I guess, 30 to sort of 150. That's our sweet spot. And like I said, we'd worked with Via previously. I remember the moment, clearly at it's obviously Microsoft Inspire today. But when we were sitting there and Microsoft were talking about Skype for Business and the roadmap and what was going to come, and we know historically that these announcements get made and then the products follow years later. But we were sitting there thinking, this is amazing, but Microsoft don't want to. Microsoft was saying we don't want to become a telco. This is not something we're going to do ourselves. And we immediately saw the opportunity to bring this to market with our clients. And I guess at that time, Via were very much ahead of the curve in terms of what they were doing. And we adopted Skype for Business internally and started sort of evangelizing it for our clients at the time. And that journey has pretty much just continued from there. We were trying to sort of pitch Teams very early on as the right solution. And look, from our part, everything that we do around solution design is just to make things simple. Why would we go for another telephony solution when it's built into Microsoft? This whole sort of unified single pane of glass for telephony, productivity. If you can do it all in one solution, then that's what we want to be doing. So it's about reducing complexity, and from our point of view, it's Harry and I have been saying COVID has been it's been quite interesting for us as a business, I guess, because if you've never had Teams and you've never had that collaboration, then it's a game changer. But for us, we've had that, and we've been using it and drinking our own champagne for years and years. So yes, we were in a great position in terms of we sent everybody home and everyone continued to work, and the service desk, everyone continued to pick up their phones as normal. But for us, it's just been as is. We've just continued to sort of operate efficiently. It's a great solution and one that we'll continue to support. I don't know if you've got anything to add, Harry. I just
no, you've kind of nailed it. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's definitely it's matured a lot since we started using Skype for Business I think when Via kind of released their product in 2013. So it's come a long way since then, and I guess with Teams now it's become a lot more truly unified. You had Skype for Business and it was quickly dismissed by people because they went, oh, the mobile app's a bit clunky. Now I remember like back in the first couple of weeks of lockdown, I was outside Costco queuing for 3 hours or whatever, and my phone would not stop going off. It was every single call I was getting through to my mobile, and that was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that it's the little things I think that you notice that have been the big strides forwards. Skype for Business worked. It did what it needed to do, but it was the little things such as the conversations, the chat wasn't seamless between mobile and desktop, and exactly a simple thing like that just was a game changer for us. And I guess one of the great things about the Microsoft products as well is this constantly evolving landscape and constant release of features and functionality. I mean, yesterday on our projects call, we turned on live captions, and it was writing as was. It's quite freaky to watch, and it makes you realize how poor your diction is as well. You're watching how many times you say and like and this, and basically. I mean, if my kids had that turned on, they'd be horrified.
It was a transcription. I think we put on as well, but that shows you, rather than showing you live at the bottom, it now writes the whole thing out, and you scroll through and you're like, there's 10,000 words here and none of them make any sense. It's that as well.
I guess buying into Teams and buying into the Microsoft stack, you're almost guaranteed to future-proof your business, because as soon as there's a new feature, you're just going to get it, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's pushed out naturally, isn't it? So
go ahead. Sorry. I mean, one of the big benefits that I'm being technical. I'm always a bit security conscious, making sure we're putting the right thing in for our clients. And I guess one of the difference between the original Skype for Business offering and Teams is that now, because it's a lot more official with Microsoft now, so it's more commonly used. We're able to use a lot more of the Microsoft Cloud, and we're able to use things like Azure AD. We're able to use conditional access. So we can secure down phones. We can make sure that we're following the same organization password, SSO, and multi-factor MFA, anything like that before we get into our phone system.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting point as well, because you guys are very much touching on that sort of transition from Skype for Business to obviously Microsoft Teams and where we are today. Obviously you're still using our TeamsLink product, which is the direct route and access through Microsoft Teams. Why are you still using that product and not sort of business voice directly with Microsoft? What are the benefits that you guys feel that you're still using our TeamsLink product for that?
I guess when you talk in the telephony and the comms market, it's quite interesting, because you've got different timescales from a project team. we're very used to email migration. Okay, we'll change the DNS. Okay, it'll be live in 30 minutes, an hour. When you're dealing with phone porting, not exactly the same thing. Same with lease lines. It can take weeks or months depending on if you fill the form in correctly. But it's been quite clear to us that that's not something we necessarily want to be taking on. It's not something we've got the internal skill set for, and we definitely want a partner who understands how to navigate it is a minefield sometimes, the minefield of phone numbers. And yes, Microsoft have some offering where you can go in and buy numbers, you can port numbers, they do have that, but I wouldn't describe it as I wouldn't necessarily want to be using that for, we've got clients with pretty complex requirements, sometimes potentially international, and we need to be able to produce numbers quickly, efficiently, and make sure they're registered to the right place, and make sure potentially they might want to make sure we can port it away quickly in the event of a disaster or a problem or anything like that. And I guess that's a big reason, that's a big benefit for us.
Yeah, perfect. No, that makes great sense, and you're obviously seeing that as a benefit to your customers as well. So obviously, Chalkline have numerous 20+ odd customers on the platform to date. So you're feeling that transition to your customers is the same benefit.
Definitely, and I guess also to add, obviously you've got the other benefits of TeamsLink, such as the integration with call recording, or we're talking about contact center, and we talk about all the add-ons we can plug in. And I mean, we were looking at when Teams direct calling, Microsoft were pushing us to have some calls initially, and we looked at it, and first question is, okay, no problem, how do we record? We can't. So that's a very quick, sorry, moving on. That quickly closed the door on that solution, for us at least internally, and a number of our customers who are FCA regulated, for instance.
Yeah, perfect. So, and you touched on a good point there as well, Harry. It's no secret that you're obviously an advocate of the product, but you're also have extensive knowledge in obviously the Microsoft stack as well as our product as well. Do you feel that a benefit to the from the partnership that you get to have that sort of development access, and we take that feedback, has that benefited you in any sort of way as well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, since as well as I say recent acquisition, it's not so recent anymore. But there's clearly a big investment in the product, and we're seeing recently the Power BI templates that have come out, and we're starting to publish them internally and look at how we can boost both our usage and start pushing it to our clients. But we always find that the biggest thing for us is it's about drinking our own champagne. We don't want to sell something because it's high margin or because it looks pretty. It needs to be functional. And the way to prove it's functional is for us to use it, and then we can become evangelical about it. We can start selling it to our clients really easy. So yeah, I mean, definitely the recent BI stuff's been a little bit of a game changer for us.
That's great.
Yeah, and I guess the continual evolving of the contact center as well.
Yeah, perfect. And obviously your guys' feedback and all those things are quite valuable. That's a real key to, I think our relationship is that sort of true partnership where we do come to you guys and very much try to involve you in taking that core feedback, not just from yourselves, but that core feedback from your customers as well. And, obviously, I did say I wanted to sort of get a little bit more descriptive on your guys, kind of, solution first approach as well, because that very much echoes into the feedback that you do give us. So you just walk me through a little bit of your kind of customer journey and the approach that you guys do take to your client base.
So everything we do, especially I guess with the smaller opportunities, is very prescriptive. So we can see anything from an opportunity where a company has got an SBS server or small server sitting in the corner of the room, which is managing their email and files, and they may have connectivity requirements and telephony requirements, and we're sort of bolt those on around, through to larger opportunities where they're already on M365, but perhaps not leveraging the full breadth of the suite. And I guess our role is to come in and help show them and help them to maximize their investment. So it's not just showing them we can migrate their emails to 365. It's showing them everything across the tool suite. So it's showing them how to use Teams and how they can leverage the full functionality of Teams as well. Because it's incredible how many companies that we speak to that tell us we're on M365. What do you do? What do you mean? Well, what are you using? I don't understand. They haven't been shown anything. And I guess, look, we as I said, we passionately believe in these tools and use them every day, whether it's SharePoint or Teams or any of the other features. So it's about showing people a different way to work. And I guess that a spotlight has 100% been shone on all of these tools with COVID. And I know Satya has said that it's accelerated digital transformation by 10 years in the space of a year, or maybe it was more so. But it's very much listening to the requirements of our clients and trying to understand what they're doing and how they're trying to work, and then mapping that to the right tools. So we want people to be able to, I mean, it's crazy. We've done call outs for Teams prospecting, and the amount of times we're getting through to receptionists and we can't even be put through to the right person. I mean, it's boggling in today's day and age with everything that's available and how easy it is really to deploy, that people just aren't adopting it immediately. It's a bit of a no-brainer. So I guess our approach, has to be tailored to the right kind of opportunities. Like I said, we do sort of see small businesses across the sort of mid-market corporate clients, but it's just taking them on that journey. It usually starts with some kind of engagement through M365. We do look at infrastructure as well, because we can help them with Azure and standing up infrastructure from either on-prem or colo into Azure. And then we're looking at all the ancillary tools around connectivity and telephony and security. And I guess today one of the big pushes we're having is around automation and process automation through sort of Power Apps. So SharePoint and Power Apps is a big play for us. So there's a real sort of journey that we're taking them on. And Teams is just another, as I said, a fantastic part of that journey. And it's an enabler. It's an enabler for collaboration, really.
Absolutely. I mean, and you've touched on a few times, obviously, the pandemic has really changed things for a lot of organizations, hasn't it? And you mentioned, obviously, digital transformation coming, a really long way in a really short time. Do you think that companies still need to be educated on adopting unified comms? Do you think that's something they still need to be educated on? Or do you think everyone's seeing the benefits of that now?
One of the things that I think is quite interesting about the telephony and connectivity space is still very long-term views taken by business. It's it's incredible, really. We speak to prospects. We're tied into a 5-year contract, and I guess that kind of goes in completely the opposite direction of what we're trying to talk about, which is, I guess, the flexibility of the cloud. One of the things that we think is brilliant is some of the stuff's on a 30-day rolling contract, and it's fairly flexible. And having that flexibility means you can change and pivot and have more people and less people and scale up and scale down. If you're in a fixed 5-year contract with a telephony provider, and unless they're offering, well, even if they're offering the right solution today, what's the right solution in a year's time or in 2 years' time? So I guess there is still some education to be done. And coming back to what I said around having this single pane of glass, why do you want another soft phone application on your iPhone, on your desktop, when you can have it within one suite? So it's not an education piece, because I think lots of people are using VoIP and soft phones and those kinds of solutions. But I guess it's about trying to push them in the right direction to adopt the right technology and the benefits that it can provide.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note as well, then, is there any specific sort of industry trends that you're seeing in terms of organizations that are adopting it, or do you feel it's sort of flexible enough that it kind of hits the basis for most organizations now? Is there anything particular you're seeing?
Our focus over the sort of last 6 to 12 months has been predominantly on the legal sector, the financial services sector. I think that these companies have critical needs in terms of their requirements and things to be done securely in the right way. And I think it's a bit of a no-brainer for them to adopt the Microsoft stack. It just ticks all the boxes. Again, I think some of these companies are falling foul to, I don't want to call it lazy IT, because that's doing other providers potentially a disservice. But again, not utilizing the full breadth of the stack. And I think if you're going to go to the trouble to migrate someone into M365 and get them to use Word and the whole Office stack, why not extend that through and give them the right end-to-end solution? We're not, one thing you know what we're like as a business, and we've always been like this. We're not afraid to say no. And I just think we wouldn't see any value in pushing something else that isn't Teams. What value can that bring over Teams?
So to go back to the previous question, I mean, from where I see things, it's not necessarily about people understanding the benefits of UC. It's people understanding that there's a mature approach to go about it. We've got clients now who are using 365, Slack, and Zoom. None of them are linked. None of them are talking to each other. They're not, they're using them all as completely isolated applications. And yes, when they're in like disaster work from home mode, that's great. It's much better than sitting there, everyone panicking. But as we emerge out, as we're planning on moving forward, as we're trying to be a little bit more sensible moving forward, is that the right approach? Probably not. Probably you want to be making sure you're linking things up, you're automating, you're potentially recording. Maybe you've got compliance requirements to be doing that. And I think that's something that we're seeing and will hopefully see more, especially as people are taking they're looking at the longer term view of what the future looks like.
Yeah, that's perfect time to sort of move into kind of my wrap-up question for you guys is kind of essentially it's like a three-parter, right? So the future is at the foundation of that question. So I'd love to know sort of what the future holds for Chalkline, what the future holds in your opinion for Microsoft Teams and TeamsLink, and then of course wrapping things up, what you think the future holds for our partnership.
Oh, there's some good
Big
questions
question.
there. Yeah,
Big question.
We need some thinking time,
Mike. I guess the future for Chalkline is we're looking to grow the business, and we're looking to continue to roll out our solutions. I guess potentially becoming slightly more verticalized in terms of our solutions. I guess we've got great referenceability, but that doesn't mean that we'll turn away business. But I guess having that referenceability and those case studies within certain sectors definitely allows you to go in there with more confidence. And as we move across the stack using Power Platform, when we start talking about process automation, and I guess that can be integrated into Teams in a big way, and that's a conversation that one client in particular is looking to do, is to have process automation feeding back into Teams as well. So linking those two products up is a big play moving forwards. So yeah, listen, we're looking to grow the business. I think this year has been difficult for most businesses. We're very fortunate that I guess we haven't been as affected as other industries, clearly, and we're very grateful for that. But this has been a bit of a consolidation year, and we're just looking to sort of grow the business and continue to grow. In terms of the Microsoft stack, was that the next question? Was it Microsoft Teams and the TeamsLink stack?
TeamsLink, yeah.
I can't possibly comment on what's coming on the TeamsLink. I will leave Harry and probably yourself to on that. I mean, like I said, Teams as an evolving product is brilliant in so much as we're getting this constant evolution of the products automatically, and we're bought into that. So I think there'll be lots of new features undoubtedly coming out over the coming sort of 6 to 12 months as they continue to consolidate the market. As for TeamsLink, I guess that's one for you two to answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, from here, I guess you've got Microsoft Viva that's going to be coming out that is going to be very heavily tied into Teams, and looking what that's going to bring. I guess to larger clients, it will have more benefits than the smaller clients. Yeah. But from a Teams perspective, I mean, as you know, Microsoft released it's a ridiculous number of features they tend to release on a quarterly basis, and you just look at any of the Ignite events when they do them, and there's just a list of things they've released after that. I'd like to see things about looking at potentially like reducing noise and helping people manage that amount of noise that comes in through Teams channels.
Yeah,
because one of the greatest things that we've had from Teams is, and we've been adopting it for years, but obviously it's taken out, with more people working from home, there's even more chats going on the channels, and that does mean that sometimes you go out, you go for a break for 10 minutes away from your desk, and you come back and Teams just like piles up all the way to the top of your screen just with notifications you've missed. And being able to, I don't know, it's got to be something really clever, something to understand that would be amazing.
We've been talking about internally about a nag bot. So where you can post this, a message to someone and almost put a nag bot on it. It's like, if I don't get a response from this in an hour, keep repeating the message.
Turn up outside their door.
Yeah, until you. So I think it's a platform which clearly there's a lot of investment, and a lot of businesses are investing time and resource into apps, and just. It's only going to become better and more used more widespread across businesses, and as that happens, I guess it'll evolve into a more mature product. I mean, you forget, rewind, like I said, 12-18 months ago, it was not in its infancy, but it was still quite an early product, and what we've seen in the last 12 to 18 months has absolutely accelerated adoption of the product, beyond, I guess, even Microsoft's wildest dreams, because they were playing catch up to some extent with other solutions.
Yeah, I think platform as well is the key word to sort of Microsoft Teams. It's the word that I very much like when you're discussing it, because that's one of the biggest differences. You look at that historic Skype for Business stuff that we talked about. Skype for Business was a communications product, right?
Yeah.
It was just centric around that. Microsoft Teams it's that truly embedded platform where there is that integration with absolutely everything. You have the ability to do things like integrate Power Apps and do some of the creative things that you guys are talking about. So absolutely, platform is very much the right word for that.
And as for the partnership, just to wrap it up, I mean, look, we work very closely with Wavenet on many different levels. I know from a technical level, you get great feedback, and you'll always get honest feedback from us as a business, and hopefully that helps make the relationship better, the product better, and we believe passionately in investing our time to get the right solution, and we'll always feedback honestly on what we think about that. And in terms of the future relationship with Wavenet, I mean, I've been speaking to Bill, the CEO, and a few people about how we can work closer together, because, like I said, the lines are becoming blurred between where does it start and where does it end. It isn't just, can you come in and install Teams? It's the 365 piece, it's the infrastructure piece, it's the Power Apps piece, the whole holistically. There's a lot that we can do together. So I only really see the relationship going from strength to strength, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, very much echoed on this side of the table as well, David. Your guys' feedback as a core partner of ours has been, invaluable. And like I stated before, you guys do have a significant number of customers on the platform, and it's only through obviously that feedback do we, look at, what's next, where do we prioritize development. So, absolutely, our partnership is vital to the success of the product.
Cool.
I think that wraps it up. I really appreciate your guys' time. This has been fantastic to have a chat. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.